Matano Masaka, Mpangi Banika, and Chisamba. This was indeed sobering for me, and there is a lot to ponder, and there's a lot to for us to begin to look at ourselves and reposition ourselves in terms of the way we think and the way we move and operate in the world, and to accept the responsibility that has been laid upon us now. So, family, with that, we're going to move on to the questions and the comments. If anyone at this time have a question or a comment, please just raise your hand and time will be given. Let me get that.
Hey, I just want to reiterate one of the scriptures that I used in my meditation earlier this week. Let me see if I can grab it here really quick. I hope this isn't the right one. But it's from the book of Matthew. It's the parable of the field, the treasure in the field. I'm just gonna look at. Sorry, family. I'll just treasure. Okay. Okay, so it says here. Let me get the King James. Okay, so it says again. This is Matthew 13:44. And it says again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hidden in a field, which when a man had found, he hid it, for joy thereof goeth and sell it all he had and buy that field. If you read a little bit lower than that, it talks about casting away all that is let me see, like keeping the good and casting away all the bad. Let me see if I can get that one there. Okay, 48. No, 47. And again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind, which, and it was full, they drew to shore and sat down and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away. So, I mean, this is the same person that everybody is waiting for to save them. He's directly telling you to go out there and make this happen for yourself. So, there are many treasures that can be found in a field, right? They were talking about the actual treasure. But you can create treasure in a field. you can see the treasure that's not there yet. You see what I'm saying? So I totally understand when you guys say that. And even I was watching a video just this morning of Bishop Mapanga. He was saying, yes, we can pray a lot, but we must also act now. And if we are the church, according to the message we were given today, what is the more important house to fill? The one that is the temple that is inside of you, or the one that cannot house anyone, but is used for a temporary service 2 days a week? So, yeah, Mata Masako family, I just want to share that.
Ngeta. Elder, Elder Kennedy, time is given.
Yeah, thanks. This was a very important session, and it is through the idleness that we are colonized. Because when we were colonized, the first thing they did is to move us from our land into the towns. If you are in the town, you cannot be able to work. You only wait to buy food, to buy things that you cannot produce yourself. And guess who took the land? The land to manufacture food, the land to plant things. Who took that land? It is a colonizer. So what does it mean for you to be free? Recently, I was asking somebody, if you have money and have food, who is richer? Is it the man with food, or is it the man with the land and food? Because at the end of the day, you cannot eat money. You only need to eat food. You need to work. So what they did is to disconnect us from work. Because if you are in your land and you work next to your land, you will produce things, you will produce crops, you will have cattle, you will have goats, you'll have sheep. After very few years, you'll be very rich. But if you live in town, the way we do, you do not have land, you do not cultivate crops, that's poverty, because you'll be relying on somebody else with your money, and you'll be reaching that person from the source of your income. So the only way we can get rich first is to utilize the land that we have. That's success criteria number 1. 2, we must have a mindset of success. The way you are said, dancing will not be able to solve your problems. We need to strategize. We need to unite, because great success does not come alone. Great success comes when you are united. It's when you put resources together, then you can be powerful. So to me, this was on point. It is the time that we need to break the mindset of our colonizers. It's the time to use the land that we have. It's time to connect and trade with each other. Because you want something good, you cannot get it in Africa. You have to go to China. You want something good, you have to go to Europe. You want something good, yeah, even he has mentioned spare parts. Yeah, you have to import. Yeah, it's time for us to create things that can sustain ourselves. If we trade among ourselves, Africa is too big. Africa is too rich. Africa is too fertile. We'll never be broke. We'll never be poor. will be rich and will be the one ruling the whole world. That was on point message, and we need to move that. Thank you.
Geta.
Ingeta.
Brother Dick, did I see your hand up or no?
Yeah, I just want to, Madondo family. It's good to see everyone here. I'm sorry I wasn't there last week, but this conversation has already come up and with me last week. We have a saying here with our indigenous people and my indigenous culture. We have a saying that the Christians are the colonizers. We call them colonizing Christians because I've been through, my family and my tribal links have been through all the same things here. Now, I'm going through a problem with a pastor from the Adventist, Seventh-day Adventist. He's brought up a bit of land from where we come from, and where my ancestors are buried, we are not allowed to go there because he's brought all this land there. So it's kind of disheartening because I wouldn't gather from a pastor calling our indigenous people devils, and because we're just saying like, why, who are you to come here? Who are you to come here and say that about my ancestors and about my people? Who are you to come on my land and take it, and so my people can't come here no more? So we're in the process of fighting for that land and fighting for our rights to go there. Well, this is a pastor from the Seventh-day Adventist. And what I figured out was I did a bit of research about this person, and I found out that he was also a real estater, and he had many followers, many followers, and his church was like probably like one of the richest churches here in New Zealand. And but to me, I just thought about it like, no, that's wrong. Why would the Most High give this to this person? And I figured out that he was deceiving a lot of people, and that the money that he did get, he was buying up all the lands. And so we're having to like fight back for our rights of those lands again. And that process is like a memory that it was back in the 1800s. And it's like the colonizers came over and taken the land again. It's a reminder of those times. And also, like when I was at the Pentecost church, I would, for about a year, all I could see was thousands of people going, but we're just singing. And we're singing and we're praising and we're singing and praising, but I never heard one word that really came out of the pastor's mouth about preaching, like telling me the gospel. And so I brought the subject up to a couple of my friends, and they were like, had probably been here for like 10 years or so. But I realized that through discernment that it was not the place for me to go to, because that's what I was looking for. I was looking for the meat. I was looking for the bread. I was looking for something that could, entice me to be at that church. And I knew that when I was at the Pentecost, that there was business people there, and they were looking at me like, who's this guy? Who is he? And I was looking at them, and I was looking at the Father up above, and I was telling myself, who are these people? And there's something wrong with them. because they had a judgment in their mind about who I was, and I was just a regular Joe coming to church, but it was my color and the way I was. It was my color, and I realized, like, oh, hang on, they're only looking at me because they see a stranger and they don't know who I am. But automatically, I knew they already had judged who I was. In front of all thousands of people, I just looked at them like, I know who you are. I know who all of yous are. But you can't be. It was just a discernment that came into my mind. And the thing is, like, I said to my daughter, because I was bringing her there too, and I said, we're going to leave this church. And my friend was asking me why, and I said, well, because one thing is, I'm not going to sit here and sing and not get nothing out of the church. I'm wanting more than that. And I'm wanting more than that because I'm seeking the Lord, I'm seeking the Father, I'm seeking the gospel, I'm seeking the word. I'm not seeking to like just sit there and sing and go home and make friends. So this is my point anyway, and this is what I wanted to say to you, is that I don't want to go to any churches like that. And this is the reason why I found the Tokoista. And the reason why I found the Tokoista because the Most High brought me here. Brought me here to learn from you and give me the message. And I'll never look back because I believe that this is where it's at. These are the people here. These are God's people here because I can feel it. I can feel the vibrations. I can feel it in my soul. I can feel that the people here are more real than those people in church and the pastors in church. I feel like everyone here has got something to offer me. And that's what I'm looking for. Manduna Masaka, my family.
Get
Brother Nabu, time is given to you.
Amahoro Ganga Congo, the people of the cabinet. Mbote. My comment is I wanna give example to my country, Burundi. We have 1,000 church, right? But students are graduating there and they go into the streets. But there's 1,000 church over there. So the image of why Jesus the bride was a poverty to our people, and as well as the problem that we ourselves, we are our own salvation. Nobody's coming and nobody's coming to build Africa. He gonna save us, yes, but to build the country is gonna be us. We gotta come together and build the country. The problem Africa still not progressing is not because there's nothing there. It's just because we lack unity. We lack unity. For example, in my country, again, I'm gonna give the example. We elect president, and next day he dead. Another president, the same thing. Not even a year, not even a week, he's dead. Over and over and over. Never realize who killed them. Who keep doing that? Is our own people. So it's not like there is anything. It's just like there's once this. I don't know what happened to our mindset. It's just that once they brought this Christianity on us, we became like animalistic, I guess. So I just want to say that we are the saviors. We are the people who are gonna build the country, and it's not gonna help us once we come together and they do something, and then he gonna help those who help themselves, and that's what I wanna comment and get up.
Get the Does anyone else have a comment? Have a comment they want to make or a question they want to ask? Elder Kenneth, I'm sorry. Mathavi, time is given.
Hello, family. Good to see you all. And those who are new, can you all hear me okay?
Ingita.
First of all,
Yes,
thank you.
we can hear you.
Thank you, brother Benika, brother Samba. Great message, very timely. I think the Mwanda is saying something very loudly, very clearly. I was on listening all the time, but mostly I was on the phone because I was in traffic. But anyway, practically speaking, what can we do at an individual level, at a family level, at a community level, and as a nation of Isolele? I was very glad to hear that Brother Samba talking about leave those churches. If you're here and you're still finding yourself undecided, you have not yet left those churches, leave them. I am speaking very boldly, very confidently, and I can have a side conversation with you, as I'm sure anybody else here can. If you're debating whether you should leave, whether it's a Christian church or whatever church it is, leave. And I'll tell you why. First of all, if you look at history, change has come about in history to any people, mainly in three ways. The first way is through education. So you teach young children, just like the scriptures tell us, train up a child and they will know the way to go when they're grown up. So if you use education, you empower people and it changes their way of thinking. Now, why am I saying we should leave those churches? Is because the colonizers, doesn't matter which country you look at, they came in and they were doing education in our schools, but they were rewriting our history. They were lying about our history so that they can change our way of thinking. If they were really Christians, according to the scriptures, they would not rewrite our history. They would acknowledge our history. They would celebrate our history, and they would spread its message. I'll give you one example, and you can use this if you're explaining to somebody why you're leaving that church. The book of Genesis tells us about Adam and Eve. They were created in the Garden of Eden. And there was a river in the Garden of Eden. And that river spread out into 4 parts. One part was going through the entire nation of Ethiopia, or land called Ethiopia. Where is Ethiopia but in Africa? Which church have you ever had telling you about Eden being in Africa? Why did they suppress that history? Why were they telling you lies? Leave those churches. Secondly, do not give them your money. Why would you fund somebody or an organization that is working against you? That is being foolish. That is not wise. Another practical step we have to take, each and every one of us and anyone who hears this message, you need to draw up a list of your friends and a list of your family that are within your circle of influence. People that you talk to one-on-one, you know them, they know you. And you need to start having these conversations of the awakening. Okay? We don't all have a forum where we can have people come and talk to them, but we have people around us. We have our friends, we have our family. You need to educate them. The other way that in history people have achieved a lot of change is through religion, through spirituality. So if they're leaving the church and they're wondering, where am I going to go? Just tell them you're taking them to the Most High, and they're going to strengthen their relationship with the Most High, and then you're going to bring them to people like this group and other like-minded, awakened people, especially Bantu-led people. Why do I say Bantu-led people? Because Bantus have been given the spiritual authority to lead the entire earth. Psalm 147, verse 19, he shows his word to Jacob, his laws and statutes to Israel. You have no business, I have no business listening to anyone else other than a Bantu to give me spiritual direction. They've been misleading us since Isaiah was here. That's over 2,000 years ago. Look where they've gotten us. We're at the bottom of the food chain. You know, if you keep doing the same thing and expecting different results, you're crazy. So we are not crazy. So we're going to start doing something different. We're going to start leading them spiritually because we are the ones given that authority. Another thing we should do practically is pray for those people in our circle of influence, our family, our friends, our nations, our cities, our leaders. Pray for them. Brother Nick, pray for that gentleman, and even pray dangerous prayers. You know, vengeance is not ours. It is Zambi's. It is the Most High's. When you see an injustice, cry out to him and let him be the one to sort out the situation. And that applies for all of us. We know the political mess that is going on in Africa in many places. Pray, and also pray if you have to pray dangerous prayers. Last but not least, a practical step we should do is that we should unite. If I see Bantu Tokoista is doing something good, I should compliment them. If I think they can help me in one way or another, I should seek their help, and vice versa. If I see a channel online, it's talking about 10 different things, and 2 of them are bad or I don't agree with, but 8 are good, focus on the good. And then when the time is right, tell them about the 2 incorrect things they're doing. But promote unity. If you look at the scriptures, whether in the Bible or outside, you will see that the 12 tribes work together. If the one of them was being attacked, they united, they went, they sent people, they chased the enemy. We cannot continue to work in isolation, yet we are one nation, one nation. Ingeta, thank you very much. Asante sana.
Ingeta. Matano Masaka, before I continue to move with the question, let me just have an opportunity to greet our sister Lydia. Lydia, are you there?
Hi.
Oh, how are you? And welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We're so glad to have you join us. How did you hear about us?
Oh, I have been fellowshipping with the Tokoista, Bantu Tokoista for at least, I think, I would say over 6 months.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I believe I heard about them through Trey, and I just decided to listen in. And so I have been in the background listening. I recently went to visit Luanda, Angola. And so I met Brother Tisumba there, and that was a joyful moment because I wasn't sure I was going to visit the Tokoista church. And I asked, before I left for the trip, that was something I prayed about. And I asked the Most High, can you please get me to visit the church? I wanted to go. And for me, my thought was that if I didn't get into at least, join in the service, I just wanted to see it. And so, like the Most High always does, he just gives you more than you ask for. So I asked for the bread and he gave me peanut butter and jelly. And so it was a joyful time. Brother Tsumba, it was a godsend because I was just Most High just working things out. Honestly, I look back on all that and I'm like, my goodness, you're good. Because I just didn't see that it was going to work out the way that it all played out, that Brother Tsumba was there. Other pastors that I also fellowship online was there. And it was, and so one thing that I encountered was the language barrier. I do speak Spanish, but Portuguese is when they're talking it fast, I can't keep up. And so Brother Tsumba was there to help with the translation. And so that was a blessing because I was able to understand and take away from that, the message, what needed to be taken away. And so, yes, it was beautiful. And I will never forget, the opportunity that the Most High gave me to be able to fellowship in person at a Tokoista church. And to top it off, we also had fellowship with Papa Maimuna at his house. That was also a blessing. So yes, I have been enjoying in the background, and the Most High gave me more than I asked for when I went to Luanda most recently. So thank you for having me.
Oh, that was wonderful. And Matondo Masaka for being here, and Matondo Masaka for sharing this wonderful experience with us. And we hope that you will come back again. Yeah,
I will.
Matondo Masaka, I'm sure there's a lot you could share with us of your experience.
Yes, thank you. I'm just going to give the short version, but thank you so much for having me.
Okay, thank you, Matondo Masaka.
Sure.
Let's see, who's hand, Shelley, time is given for your comment.
Oh, Matondo, Mama Matuzola, sorry, I took it down because I was trying to get it down for a bit, but Elder Mutabi said practically everything I was going to say. So, I just have like one or two things to add, but this was a very, very beneficial class. I am so glad that you spoke about this because I think this is just right where we are as a people. I think we are at the stage where we're fed up with the way things are. And we need to see change. We want to see change. I guess, we've been stuck in the way that we've been taught by the colonizers for so long that, sometimes we don't know how to move forward. But Elder Mutabi said it correctly. We have to come together and move forward. We have to build together. We have to grow together. It's like Tusambu was saying, there are 5 churches in the street and no companies. So we need to get together and build a company. We were taught to distrust each other and to look at each other skeptically and not come together. We have to throw that away and realize that we need to come together. And if we don't come together, we won't be able to build. Look at the other nations. The Chinese come together and they come in a nation, they can't even speak the language, and they take over. And before you know it, they have big businesses all over the place, and we spend our money there. The Europeans come, they do the same thing. The Indians come, they do the same thing. It's time for us to do that. It is time for us to come together, to trust each other, to throw off those mental chains, and to really trust each other and go into business together. The laws were changed after slavery to prevent us from growing, to prevent us from making money. They changed the laws and they organized things legally to keep us down. When our people that we have prayed for and asked the Tanzania to put in place, and they're coming in, believe it, they're coming in. When they come in, it's up to them now to change these laws again and make them favorable to us. And we can pray for that. And in the meantime, we on the ground level get together. And if we don't have enough money by ourselves to build a company, we can do it together. 5 of us or 6 of us or 7 of us can get together and we can build that company. We can have a store where we sell clothing. We can have a supermarket. Sorry, we can have all these other things that they took from us and prevented us from having. We can have them. We're not, you know, we're none of the things that they called us. We are made in the image and likeness of the Tanzania. And so he has given us everything we need. We have those creative abilities. Let us get together and do it. We can do it, and we need to do it. We just need to see it, see ourselves doing this, you know, stop, like Elder Kennedy was saying, we give our money to these places, but if we have these establishments, we can go there and buy what we need from each other. We can build each other. It's time for us to start building each other now and stop spending with those who oppress us and who continue to keep us oppressed. Because you will go to the bank and the bank is going to give you a whole set of red tape for you to get a loan. But they can go in 2 twos, they get it. And they don't have to go through all that we have to go through. So we need to stop, you know, let's think and let's put things into practice and do it practically. And we're going to be moving. We're going to move on because we are seeing the unity coming and we need to embrace it. And we need to encourage it. And let us all be careful. I'm big on let us being careful about what comes out of our mouths, because we've been trained and taught to pull each other down so much that we even do it among ourselves. We'd say, oh, you know, we can't do this and we can't do that and we'll never do this and we never do that. Let's not do that anymore. Let us make it a thing of the past. We used to not be able to do this and that. We used to. We can now. We can come together. We can be a family again. We can be a nation again. And we can be everything that our Tatanzambe created us to be. Let nobody take that away from you. We can. And if we are to reflect towards Zambia, then let's do it. Let's do it. That's all. Ngeta.
Ngeta. Is there anyone else whose hand I missed? Okay. Well, I just want to say, make a comment that this message was very practical. Thank you. This is a practical message for me. And we need practical messages in this hour. And I just want to start my comment. I appreciated so much what was said that, you know, during the gospel of colonization, we did hear a lot and we even believed it. And some of us still may have that mindset that we are Esau. But even if you today, right, we know we're not, but for those that will hear and do believe that, even they have no excuse anymore, because now you know that even if you call yourself Esau, what did the scripture say? It said that the yoke would be broken off your neck. Even if you call yourself Esau, the Most High told us, when you take his yoke off, take the yoke off your neck, you will be free. So now, no matter who you call yourself, we don't have any excuse. This is why I say this is very practical. And the other comment I wanted to make, see, when there's nothing restricting or binding your neck, you have the freedom and the ability to observe. You don't have nothing restricting you. You can observe, you can look around, you can plan, you can see what you have, you can take inventory of what belongs to you, and you can make plan on what to do with it and how to further it and all these things. And so that brings me to the point where you have the ability now to work. You have the freedom to work with a new mindset. You have the freedom to work because you don't have anything binding your mind anymore, binding your neck, keeping you, constricting your movement, pushing you down. Now you can work. And the scripture told us that in all labor, in all work, there is profit. And I heard Benika say, you know, you can look at these nations. China, they don't worship in Zombie. India, they don't worship in Zombie. They worship what they worship. China worship what they worship. But what they do, they work. They work. All these nations work. And the scripture says, in all labor, there is profit. So we have to apply that to ourselves. It's time for us to work. And the gospel of colonization, they taught us to be consumers. And I heard Elder Kennedy say, they took away our ability to work. They took away our ability to be thinkers and manufacturers. So we stopped working, we became consumers. We stopped working and became consumers. We just, everything we needed, we started getting from this nation and that nation, just get it from China, get it from, well, they're working, they're developing their ideas. And they're saying, when you say, hey, I need this, they say, hey, we got it. And then we just go get it from them. But it's time for us to go back to work. And the last thing I want to say is, when I heard Tusamba say about the churches in his neighborhood, yeah, that's everywhere we are. And one of the things behind that I observe is that if you go to a lending institution, I'm talking about here in America, if you go to a lending institution in America, it will not be difficult for you to get a loan if you want to build or open a 501c3 church. They will give you that money to do that. You know why? Because it puts that yoke right back on your neck. It puts that yoke right back on the neck of your people. It keeps them under that mindset, colonized mindset. Don't work, just go to church, sing and dance, shout, sing and dance. And you're no longer under the mindset of, hey, what can I build? What can I create? What business can I start? Because they're not teaching that in the churches. I don't know look, okay, family, I'm gonna shut up, I promise you. But I was in church for a long time. I was in church for a long time. And I never went to a church that brought in anyone and say, okay, here, let me teach you how to invest. Let me teach you how to invest so that if you do have some money, you can take your money and you can grow your money so that you can go and start whatever business you want. Let me tell you how to invest so you can teach your children how to invest and build and be business owners. And they didn't teach that in the church. Not the ones I went to. They did not do that. They taught you Jesus loved you, God loved you, have faith, you know, don't sin, and all of this is good, but it did not teach me how to move forward in my life, to lift myself and lift my people and be owners and have dominion in the earth. So that's all I wanted to say. And get that.
Ingeta.
Elder Kennedy, your hand is up. Time is given.
Now, I was clapping, but just to add is that we also need to change the education system. The system of knowledge that we have is not sufficient to support us. It is meant to colonize us from inside. So we need to change the curriculum so that we can initiate knowledge that can produce African goods, those goods that can serve our interest. So curriculum is very important, but more so we need to hard work and avoid focusing from outside. Thank you.
And get that. Matano Masaka. So if there's anyone else that have a comment or a question, or if there aren't any more, we're going to move on to closing out. And if I could get, let's see who, Sister Shelley, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Can you, oh, well, before, I'm going to get you to give thanks for the service. But before that, I just want to give any final questions or comments to Bonica and to Samba. And then after that, if I could get to Samba to close us out in prayer, that would be great.
Masaka, Kambo Yave, Anarone, Levi, Livuvamo.
Tuvamo.
Another thing, you will never listen those terms in churches. You will never. Calling you Kambo Yave, which means people the covenant. Anarone, daughters and children of Aaron. Never. You know, never. Enzo Alevi, Enzo Isayele, Enzo Amoze. Oh, family. You know, that's why we love Toko. What to teach us, you know, I see myself, you know, and in communication, even sometimes, you know, many people, they get ashamed because there's certain special prayer where it only means people will speak dialect. You speak Portuguese, English, he will throw you away. No, I don't want, you know, no offense, right? But there are certain prayers, it means people who speak dialect, you know, your father's language. Because if you pray in English, your sister doesn't speak English, you know. Anyway, family, that's another point. Matano Masaka for your presence, family. Mama Lydia, thank you very much for joining us today. And thank you very much for your word.
Thank you.
Matano Masaka for everything you have said and you have seen. You know, that's when you saw there. That is above us, you know. That is the vessel. Let me put it this way. That is the vessel in which Montoko used. And we listen from him. Everything we teach here, we learn from him. You know, we listen from him and we transmit only. We don't invent nothing. Nothing. I don't take nothing in my mind, but somebody take nothing on his mind. So we just says what he says. You know, that's all. You know, there is a higher person above us. Nothing we teach is according to all, you know, like we read a book and then we feel, but what do you think? No. We just teach what he tells, what he teach us. That energy you saw there, that is the same energy. You know, that elder Nuni, we call him Pai Maimona. That man, he was 35 years old when Montoko started using him. And I guess you already know, all those things. He was 35 years old. And when he came, when he came into Luanda, because he came from the village to Luanda, that place you found where the Tokoista church is, back in the year 2000, it was, I'll send you the video, if I can get in communication with you, that was empty. There was nothing there. And Montoko, through him, when he says, I'm going to build a temple here, people say you're crazy, right? And he said, he built the temple after 12 years, 12 tribe of East Solele. And after building the temple, he built a university. There is a college there. Yes. When he decided to build college, the elders say it is useless. Why college? Jesus is already coming soon. Why college? We leave college behind, But he say, what you guys shouldn't know is, is the language, is what I like to say. So we love him so much because he's a good role model. That's why we listen to everything he says. And that is a symbol of, family, of unity. In order, for us to prosper, we must have a direction. We must listen from somebody. We must listen from one voice. That's why we have a Fumu Yesu, Christ is our high priest. Thank you very much, Saladia, for your contribution. And
thank you.
I hope that you visit Angola back. Are you already in the USA?
Yes, I'm back home. Yeah, I will be visiting Angola again. So in probably a year or so, I'm going back.
We wish to see you back, of course. Yes, and Maton Masaka. So, dear family, thank you very much for your presence as well. Thank you very much for joining us today. A change is small with few numbers. We don't look at the numbers. Fumius, when he came, only chose 12, not 100. By the way, when he was amongst many people, 5,000 and many people plus, 5,000 plus. After they all ate, they ran away. That's why Musa doesn't look to numbers, it doesn't look to numbers, I'm telling you. Elder Kenny, Kenny, Elder Watavi, be strong and continue to move, we'll start slowly, yes. The work we're doing, let's continue to do it. 3 people, 4 people, let's move on, let's move on, doesn't matter, let's move on, yes. And this few will influence. Recently, the man of Allah says, it's better few than more sometimes. Yes. Matono Masaka, dear family, for you, we spoke about also on the unity, and many things. Please meditate on Psalms 128. 128. And for now, I would like to give you Zechariah 8:16, which is as follows. These are the things that you shall do. Speak the truth to one another, render in your gate judgment that are true, and make for peace. Do not devise evil in your heart against one another, and love love no false oath. For all these things that I hate, says the Elimo. I learned also the scripture from Toko. We always read that in fasting. Matono Masaka family, may be blessed as well, and we hope to see you next time. Yep, Samba and Masaida, the video.
So, fam, nothing to add anymore. The cup is full. So, have a good weekend. Love you so much. Mama Lydia, I don't like to call her sister, but the mother. Mama Lydia, this is your home.
Thank you.
Your family.
Thank you.
We meet also during the week for prayers. on Tuesday around 11 p.m. Eastern Time.
Mhm.
But we're gonna send you straight the program after this Zoom.
Okay.
So, from the massacre for accepting our invitation. And Mama Zola, thank you for hosting the prayer, the Zoom nicely, and all of you, thank you for joining us.
Ngeta. Shelley?
Oh, sorry. Okay. Let's just close. Mwana kumase. Ye mwana velela. Amen.
Tusamba. Yave mpungu, Zambe ya mayamona, Zambe ya nkimpa vita, Zambe ya kimbangu, Zambe ye tompe. Matondo, masaka, o tatu. Yeto tufuakele, yo salu munantango yai. Sambula yana yaku, sambula nsi yetu. O Tatanzam, bless your people, bless your land. We have finished the work that you instructed us to do. As Isaiah Congo prayed, they are in the land, this world. While I was with them, I was protecting them. And Isaiah Congo continued saying, Tata, guide and protect them. So we are asking that you protect us, that you walk with us, that you empower us, for us to make a difference, Tanzania, for us to change our continent and this world as well. Bring us more close to one another and the unity to be visible in this other platform until you come and manifest yourself to everyone. Unakumba se, Mwana, Mwanda, Berela. Before we finish, thank you for putting in our mind, in our hearts. We pray that you protect your daughter, Laura, against all this hurricane that is moving that side. Let her and all the family that side not be affected by those heavy rains, Lord. Heal your daughter, Kiese, from all the infirmity and others who are sick. Unakumba se, Mwana, you say that you came to bring the captivities free and the poor and to heal. So do that. Set us all free, Nzambi. As you said in Isaiah 61:1, do it that. Oh, Matondo Mashaka. Mwanda Velela. Ingeti.
Ngeta.
Ngeta.
Mm.
Munantima mietu.
Wale wanatima mietu.
Ngeta.
Wenda Kiambote.
Mwenda Kampote.
Tuma Kiambote.
Tala Kembote family.
Ola Moshi.
Matondo family. We'll see you.